Each year on March 31st, the world observes Transgender Day of Visibility. It's a day dedicated to celebrating the lives, accomplishments, and resilience of transgender and non-binary people, while also raising awareness about the challenges the community still faces. Joining me now is Ben Greene. He's an educator, also the author of My Child is Trans, Now What? A Joy-Centered Approach to Support. Good to talk to you this morning.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Good morning.
Can you share your personal story and what it means to you to be visible today?
Yeah, absolutely. I transitioned over 10 years ago as a teenager living in small town Connecticut. And I can't even tell you how many nights just sitting alone, staring at the ceiling, wondering if there was ever going to be a future for me. I had never seen a transgender adult, and certainly not a happy one. So I thought that maybe I would go to college and then I would just disappear. And then the first time I met a transgender adult while I was a freshman in college, my mind was just totally blown. The entire world opened up for me when I realized what was possible. And when I went to speak to him after the show, I tried to explain all that that had meant, and I just burst into tears. I couldn't say anything. It meant so much to me to be able to realize that there could be a future for me. So in that moment, I decided to commit my life to being as visible as I could be, being an advocate, a public speaker, being the reason that somebody gets to look at me and say, oh, I get to grow up. This is a day where we get to recognize how far we've come and how far we have to go and how far we get to go.
And for parents of trans youth, what are some important questions they might not be asking but should?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of times, especially with the climate we're in right now, parents jump right to feelings like fear and grief, which are understandable reactions, but then they get stuck there. They just think about, I'm worried for my child, or I'm grieving what was lost. They should also be asking, what are ways that I can build a better world for my child? What are ways I can center joy in this journey and celebrate the beauty that my child is adding to their lives by trusting me with this information? They also forget to ask, where can I get support? It can be really challenging and frightening and isolating to have a kid come out. So finding a community of people around you who have been on a similar journey is an amazing way to make sure you are best equipped to support your kid and support yourself.
And what are ways people can show support for their trans friends outside of just social media messages, let's say?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a big one is sending good news when you see it. A lot of people like to send me bad news and they're like, Ben, have you heard this? Yes, 100 people texted me about the executive order. I know, I've heard, I don't need you to tell me. But when there's good news that people send me, even if it's like just a funny local news story, remembering that the world is not all bad and all hateful is so important, as well as creating a support menu with the people that you're trying to lift up, right? Rather than saying, what can I do? I don't really know how to answer that. I don't know what you're willing to do, and maybe I don't know what I need. But maybe you send me 5 options. Hey, could I come over and clean your apartment? Can I Venmo you $10 for an ice cream? Do you want to hang out and have a no politics rule, or hang out and have a yes politics and yes screaming rule? Whatever it is, sending those options to someone to let them know what you're willing to do is a much more tactical way to support someone than just saying, what do you think you need?
We have seen such a rise in anti-trans legislation. Can you explain the impact that is having on the trans community?
Yeah, absolutely. So right now I am a frontlines advocate living in St. Louis, Missouri. So I am really dealing with the brunt of that. And that's doing so many things, both officially and not necessarily the direct effects of the legislation. Legislatively, it's creating an environment where people are afraid. They are not safe. We are facing an internal refugee crisis. In the United States, over 260,000 families relocating to safer states because of persecution of themselves, their families, and their children, or their own careers as well. So people are frightened. They are losing their access to healthcare, losing the ability to participate in sports. And this isn't about elite level competitions. We're talking about kids who are scoring on themselves in soccer, who just want to be able to make a friend, aren't able to make those friends now. So it's creating a lot of fear. It's creating a lot of radicalization. When people hear that I'm transgender, they think, oh, so you're the one coming after my daughter's trophy. You're the one trying to follow me into the bathroom. They forget that I'm just a person. These bills, more than anything else, strip us of our humanity. They turn us into a problem to be solved rather than a tiny minority group of people who is just trying to live like anybody else.
Ben Greene, thanks so much for being here today. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Ben is the author of My Child is Trans, Now What? A joy-centered approach to support, which you can find wherever books are sold.